In this video, we'll set up our first Vue-enabled page using an online code editor. If we click Get Started here, we should see the guide for Vue version 2.0. The documentation is really well written and thorough, so I'd recommend reading it all the way through after viewing this course, which you can probably do in 1 or 2 sittings. Right now, we're just here to find the core Vue script that we need to get started, and if we click Installation in the left nav, we can then download it by clicking either Development Version or Production Version, the latter giving us a fully minified version without warning messages. Installing Vue really is as simple as downloading one of these files and adding a script tag to a page. But an even easier way is to use a content delivery network like Unpackage, which is a convenient way of using any module that's been published to the most popular JavaScript package manager, which is NPM. So if I hover over the Unpackage link here, you can see that the URL path includes vue/dist/vue.js. But when I click it, it redirects me to the latest published version. Let's copy this URL and paste it into a script tag source attribute in a new web page. We'll do this so that we can pin it at this specific version and avoid potential confusion when that redirect is updated in the future. But where will we put the script tag? There are lots of good options for experimenting with Vue, including JS Fiddle as suggested in the documentation, or you could just create an HTML page on your desktop. In this course, we'll be using a web-based development environment called Cloud9, which we can load by navigating to c9.io. You don't have to use Cloud9 to follow along with the examples in this course, but if you don't currently have a development environment set up where you can run Node.js on the command line, which we'll do later on, then Cloud9 is a good option that offers full Ubuntu Linux shell access with Node pre-installed. I won't go through the full sign-up process right now, but I just want to mention briefly that if you do decide to use Cloud9, you will be asked for a credit card, but it won't be charged unless you upgrade from the free plan, which provides everything we need for this course. Once we're signed up, we can create a new workspace, and I'll just call this one Vue and describe it as a Vue.js tutorial. With the free plan, we can create one private workspace, and then I'll choose the blank template, because as I mentioned, we really don't need anything at all to get started, except for the core script whose CDN URL I still have on the clipboard. Once we're up and running, I'll right-click the workspace panel and create a new file named hello.html. We'll give it the HTML5 doc type, and then if I start typing script and hit tab, I get auto-completion for the script snippet, and then I can just paste that URL as the source. Next, I'll create a div with another snippet and use the # shortcut followed by tab to automatically assign it an ID of app, which is a common way to identify a section of a page that you want Vue to interact with. Finally, we'll create a new Vue instance that will manage all of the content and behavior associated with this element and its children. And first, we'll just add a bit of dynamic content inside that div. So this time, I didn't need the full script snippet, and I don't even need the type attribute since JavaScript is the default. So we want to call new Vue, and this takes an object that for now will simply specify what element we want to mount to, or in other words, what root element we want Vue to control. And also an object to hold the data that we want to bind to that element or any of its children. The mounting element we specify with the L property for element, and the value will be the string #app, just like a CSS selector. Data will be an object with a single property for now, MSG, short for message, and it will have that value. Now I can make this message appear inside this div simply by using double curly braces surrounding the data property name. This is a technique called string interpolation, and I'll put this inside a level 1 heading. Let's go ahead and run this by clicking the green Run button up here. You can see that has the side effect of opening this console where I can see that the Apache web server is running. And it shows me where I can go to view the page. So if I click and select Open, I can now see this message as if I had typed it in plain text between the H1 tags. By the way, if you don't want to use double curly braces or the double stash, as some call it, or if that conflicts with something else you're already using on the client side or the server side, it's easy to configure a different set of delimiters just by passing the delimiters option like this, with the start and end character sequences that you prefer. Notice that I didn't have to prefix the message property here with the word data, or store the view instance in a variable in order to refer to its data up here. View knows that I'm referring to a property of the data object. And with that, we have our first simple app featuring a view instance that's capable of updating the DOM. One other quick note, since this page is processed top to bottom, just make sure that the element that you're mounting to appears before the call to new view so that view can locate it.